Hey guys, we're here at the Sepang International Circuit today and to celebrate an important date for Malaysian petrol heads because today marks the launching of the Mk8 Golf GTI in Malaysia. The Mk8 Golf GTI has been launched overseas for a long time and now it's finally here in Malaysia. And here's the extra good news. It's going to be manufactured here. I mean, it's going to have a CKD version here. What it actually means is that we're going to get it at an extremely good deal, right? More of that in this episode on Thomas Drive. We'll take on the track, do a little walk around and talk a little bit about the history of the car, right? So with that, let's jump straight in. We're going to go look a little bit at the history, walk down memory lane, because the Golf is one of the most iconic hatchbacks in the world. In fact, there are more than 35 million of them sold all across the world. I mean, that's some serious number across 8 generations. And what I really love about Golfs is not only the way it drives, but the way it looks. So this is the Mark 1, and you can see a lot of it resembles the current generation, that boxy, squarey look. It all started with the Mark 1. The interesting thing about the word Golf, it actually didn't mean the word golf ball. In German, golf actually means golf, right? It was representing the stream golf or golf, right? So it's not exactly golf, right? We don't have the Mark II, but we do have the Mark III and the Mark IV over here, right? So again, you can see it retains that squarish look, which I like a lot. You know, Mark III has now a little bit of an angry eye. And that one, they remove the eyelids, so it becomes like an eye by itself. And the return was the legendary Mark 5s. Now, I've driven this car, I absolutely love the Mark 5. I think it's great value for money. It has the multi-link suspension on the rear. Okay, so a lot of game changer for this model over here. Then, dual clutch gearbox, turbocharged. It has so many modern technologies in this car over here. In my opinion, looks fantastic. I love the look of it. You know, you can still see that the 2 round lights and then that line that we tried to retain, that eye there, honeycomb, tartan seats. I mean, how do you not like this car? That chassis, man, just such a fun chassis to drive. You know, I can believe why people say this one put it back on track, put the Golf GTI back on track. That's the Mark 5. Yeah, I love this car. Of course, we all know the Mark 6, the Mark 7, which is very common in Malaysian roads. And today we're gonna have the Mark 8. Mark 8, yeah. So you can see people are swarming over there. We're going to jump in the car later on when I have the opportunity to drive this car on track. Let's see how the driving dynamics works in this car over here, right? So stay tuned for more of that. I am so pumped. Just can't wait to get into the car and just drive, and hopefully with some time we can do some walk around with the interior specs of the car and find out how is it equipped for Malaysia. Right? Let's go.
So we had only 2 laps on the track, so it's not a full-on driving review, but it's enough to understand the improvements from the Mark 7.
Alright, so here the Golf GTI, going on track to see how this car feels like. Okay, so this is highly anticipated at an extremely good price, 211k.
Now first of all, the engine. It produces 245 PS, 25 more than the previous generation and 20 more Newton meters of torque from the last one, so makes it around 370 Newton meters of torque. Now all that figures, how does it actually feel?
First impressions, engine strong.
I feel the car is more happily and more ready to be pushed. Engine feels more meaty and punchier, it's more eager to visit the high revs and makes a good noise while at it. Speaking of noise, DSG farts are still there in sports mode, so the racer boy in me is happy. Now gearbox is just great. 7-speed wet clutch DSG, quick and crispy shifts both up and down, and just excellent tuning over there. But what I didn't like was the pedals. I'll share more about the pedals in the walk around.
What is good?
The handling dynamics as well, I felt the leap was significant. Now on normal speeds you don't feel much, but at the limits I start to feel more confident compared to the Mark 7. I always felt that I have to hold back a bit with the Mark 7 because it starts to hesitate when pushed to its limits, but here it feels really composed at the limit.
Alright. What I love about this Mark 8 is that nice... Oh great, love the front end. Beautiful. Okay, steering is really sharp.
The front end bites while going to the corner, and even at hard acceleration of the corner, there's very little understeer, very little drama, but plenty of grip. There's a little bit of lift-off oversteer, but easily straightened. Overall, it gives you so much confidence to just push and push and push the car. And I think it has to do with the new aluminium subframe for the Mk8 Golf GTI. Other than being lighter, it provides more rigidity, and I think it all translates in this drive over here. Now what does it mean? It means that performance now is more accessible, it's more fun for most people. And that's why I think it's the hallmark of the GTI badge. The engineering allows people to access the performance with more ease and fun.
Wow!
But I can't help to think of a but, a very small but. Is the car way too competent and not wild enough for some? Well, for some people, they want more drama. They need to tame the car so they can drive it hard. Now that remains to be a personal preference. However, it is undeniable the Mk8 Golf GTI is a brilliant package still, very respectable, and it's very hard to beat the combination of fun and practicality. And with the heritage and the name of Golf GTI, I think you'll be very pleased with the drive. You just can't go wrong with the Golf GTI.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna recap this.
Alright, we're going to do a little walk around with the Mk8 Golf GTI. Now some of you will notice that I sound different because this is my voice from the studio. Yes, I recorded this part because of the background music over there. So, without further ado, here we go. Now first of all, what is up with this color? This is what they call King's Red. Different than the previous Tornado Red Solid. This has a slightly grey tint and a pearl effect, which in my opinion makes the car looks a little bit more premium than the previous Red, which is really flat. Now being a hot hatch, you always start from the rear. I mean, come on, look at that. Now the first thing you notice is the rear lamps are redesigned. So it's not a change, rather it's an evolution, a step up from the Mark 7. Yeah, there's a nice sharper edge to it, which I like. Now check out the line that goes across the boot through the lines of the light as well. This makes a very nice boxy accent, which I love. It reminds me of the Mark 1 Golf GTI. Now as the badging, there are 3 letters that tell everybody that you pick the naughtier variant. It's smack in the middle below the Volkswagen badge, which I'm not a big fan of. If I own this car, I'd probably debadge it to give it a nice clean look. Now that's just me. Let me know in the comments what you should do with it. Now if you look down, there's nothing crazy with the diffuser, which I like. This makes the car look really nice and stealthy. And twin pipes on both of the ends like the Mark 7. No crazy squarish thing, just regular exhaust pipes. Very nice. Great job Volkswagen. Now how about the front? Oh yeah, there's a GTI badge on the side fender as well that reminds everybody it's a GTI. Now here's what I really like as well, this little triangular windscreen that lets you see out of the car. Now this helps with visibility, especially around tight areas, in traffic, and keeping an eye out for motorcycles. I really like this, a great touch from Volkswagen. Now the front has further evolved. As you can see, the lights have this new design focusing on creating a straight line across the bumper. And this gives a very angry looking car, especially at night. It kind of says, "Get out of my way." Now the shape of the front, however, feels less boxy than the rear. In fact, I feel the front's shape design is something more of like a coupe-inspired front. See the slanting nose coming down, and it's all diving in. I'm not a big fan of this, but let me know in the comments what do you think about this. But it's not too bad because it still feels and looks like an evolution from the Mark 7. Now, of course, there's a honeycomb grille down there as well and near the air vents, and this is traditional in all the Golf GTI lineage. I love it. Now, on the sides, the brake calipers are red to let people know again it's a Golf GTI. Boot space is very decent, 378 litres with spare tyres below it. Now let's jump into the interior. Now the interior is, in my opinion, completely new. There's this new double-layered dashboard that elevates and makes it feel more premium than before. Even the second layer down here has that honeycomb design from it. Now of course you have the red ambient light to remind you that it's a Golf GTI again. But if you somehow don't like it or pantang red color, there's 30 different colors to choose from in the ambient lights. The interior feels very high-tech, however it feels less familiar than before. Usually you get this very Spartan and no-nonsense, full functionality design. Now that's all gone with this new interior. Even the aircon is now controlled through the infotainment system. Now gone with all the knobs and buttons, it's now replaced with these touch-sensitive buttons on plastic panels. Even the light control knob on the right of the driver's seat is now replaced with a button selection. Now it does look very nice and modern and certainly very cool, but I'm not a big fan of it. However, I think we'll just get used to it eventually. Oh, and the gearbox as well. It's gone a whole leap into modern. It's now this little notch. I think it's pretty cool and slick, but in my opinion, the GTI is a hot hatch, a sporty hot hatch. It should feel sporty, and this doesn't speak any sporty to me. Now that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Now the pedal shifter. Now I have a problem with these things. The tactile feeling does not feel sporty. In fact, it feels like a button that you press on the radio. But of course, this part should be easily modified, so it's not a big issue, especially for those who like a sporty tactile feel. But it's small and discreet. Again, it does complement with this very slick, modern look. Now, as for the seats, it comes with this sport bucket seat design, which provides great comfort and holds onto you when you're doing tight corners, which is great. But the only downside is that it makes the rear passenger feel a little claustrophobic. Now, good news is that there are plenty of USB-C ports around the car, 2 in front and 2 behind, and they've equipped the Golf GTI with wireless charging. That's great. Now overall, the interior feels like a complete makeover as compared to the exterior, but I think it's required if the GTI is to woo some customers from the A-class buyers or other premium brands as well. So what do I think about the Mk8 Golf GTI? I think it drives well, it makes the right noises, it looks handsome, and it has a GTI badge. And with such a competitive price of 211,000 ringgit, I think it's going to sell very well here and it's going to be loved by many. Now that's all for this review. If you enjoyed it, please help me hit the like button and do check out my channel as well for other car related content, drive vlogs, car care and lifestyle. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you won't miss an episode when it's uploaded. Till then, take care, stay safe and keep it 100%. Thanks for watching. Peace out.